You guys know I love podcasting and listening to podcasts, and I'm guessing if you're listening to this that you love podcasts too. Have you ever considered podcasting yourself? It is a great way to reach your audience, grow your know, like and trust factor, and not need to show your face unless you want to. If it is something you've thought about but you don't know where to start, then head over to becomeapodcaster.uk/BAP quiz, BAP quiz, to access a 2-minute quiz that will help you work out what type of podcast might suit you. That's becomeapodcaster.uk/BAP quiz. You're listening to the Mindset and Action podcast, bringing you the map to grow and streamline your business in 2023. I'm your host, Donna Eade, your go-to gal for all things podcasting, planning and productivity. And I'll be bringing you all that plus mindset goodness from experts with knowledge to share. Let's make 2023 the year of success in your business. Everything negative, pressure, challenges is all an opportunity for me to rise. Kobe Bryant. Welcome to the Mindset and Action podcast. I am so excited to bring you this first episode under the new brand. It is the dawn of a new era, guys, for the podcast and my business. And in celebration of that, I have decided that today we are acknowledging that business is hard and that there are challenges both within and outside of our control, and that we should be so proud of ourselves that we keep going, we tackle, we overcome, and we grow through these challenges. So let's start with this podcast. What can you expect from the Mindset and Action podcast going forward? If you have been in my world for any length of time, you know I love productivity, planning, podcasting, and mindset. And those are basically the 4 pillars that I'll be talking about on this show. This podcast is here to help you grow and streamline your business, growing your audience, planning well, making the most of your time, and getting your mind and body in the game is what's going to help you reach those big, audacious goals. So I am pulling on my own expertise and experience and bringing you guests from around the globe to share theirs too. If you are a brand new listener listening for the very first time, welcome. I am so happy to have you here. I encourage you to subscribe where you listen. This will make sure your podcast player notifies you when new episodes go live. But usually it only notifies you when you open the app, and sometimes it doesn't even do it then. So also head over to donnaeade.com/pod squad and sign up for my weekly email that gives you updates and links to the new episodes. And if you're a long time listener and you're not part of the pod squad, you can head over and sign up there too. I am so grateful to have you here. So I'm going to get honest with you guys here and tell you a bit about my backstory that I have not shared before. So this is going to be brand new for everyone. I'm going to go into a little bit of my business background and share where I have made mistakes, had challenges, and where I am now going forward. Then I'm going to share with you some stories from some of my business besties. So stay tuned for that. So it may surprise you to know that this is actually my 8th business. Now, 3 of those were when I was under 22, and they were network marketing businesses. So you might not count them because I was just young and had no idea how network marketing worked. I had no idea how business worked. And I was just trying to find something to do with my time. And I just needed something that was outside of looking after my baby. And that was kind of it. I didn't really take them seriously. I didn't really work at them. It was more of a social thing for me. I am also currently an independent Sensi consultant. So this is my 4th network marketing business, which I joined 3 years ago. And I am still part of it. All of the others were obviously less than that. It was a few months here and there. But I joined Scentsy because I absolutely love the products, and I love that it is a clean way to fragrance your home. So I will leave my fragrance link in the show notes if you are interested in finding out more about what that is. I don't generally talk about it over here. It's just something that I kind of do, and I help my friends and family out with their purchases, but it's really a way for me to get my own cheaper. So it's not something that I am, full blown doing the business of that network marketing. It's not my main focus. So that's why I don't mention it over here. But I wanted to let you know that forms part of my 8 businesses, because you may be thinking, oh my gosh, Donna, that is immense. So taking away the network marketing, I have had 4 businesses. So I will touch on those a little bit deeper. The first was Twinkle Tips, which I opened in 2007. I was working from home as a nail tech and I had done a beauty therapy course. So I was technically qualified to do facials, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. However, I'm not going to get into the reasons and whatnot for that. I didn't feel like I was qualified to do those things. But nails, I actually took a nail extension course separately from my beauty therapy course, and I felt okay doing manicures, pedicures and acrylics. So that is what I was doing. And the reason that I started that business is because I wanted to be at home for my daughter. I knew absolutely nothing about running a business or marketing a business. I was a single parent and I just wanted to be home for my daughter. So she was born in 2001. So she was just recently at school at this point. And I just wanted to be there for her more. I didn't want to be out of the house 9 to 5 and her having to go to before school club, after school club and things like that. But unfortunately, I couldn't make the money work. So it was one of those things that you need to have a good client base built up before you really leave a job. And I didn't. And it was slow going. And because I didn't have any idea how to market myself, I struggled. And therefore, that business was closed down after about 3 months. I just couldn't make it work. And I don't know what I was thinking. Like I say, I was a lot younger and I just didn't understand that just putting it out there on social media wasn't going to get me, a ton of clients. So that business closed. I went back to full-time work after 3 months, but I was still doing nails on the side for a little bit, but it soon faded out. The next business was Donna Eid Photography. So this started in 2009 and I started with weddings. I absolutely loved weddings. I was so excited to start this business. I had been following a wedding photographer for a while online and she had shot some of my friends' weddings. I really loved what she did and I just felt like it was a great place for me to be because I absolutely love. I love weddings. I actually cried at every wedding I shot. And it just seemed like the best fit for me. So I started my photography business. I actually had a real life studio for around 6 months, which I absolutely adored as well. It was really nice to have a workplace to go to that was my own and not working for somebody else. So I really enjoyed that. But again, I was a single mum. And in 2009, I was at uni full time. So I did uni full time and did the business on the side. And then it was imposter syndrome that made me get the studio because I felt like people wouldn't take me seriously or wouldn't pay me what I was worth if they were coming to my home. That was partly because I lived on a council estate at the time. So it wasn't exactly a well-established, beautiful area. It was a council estate. And I just had this full-on imposter syndrome that nobody would pay me the prices that I wanted if they came to my house and saw where I lived. So that was on me. I got a studio. I absolutely loved it. I was there for 6 months, But again, you've then got all these extra overheads that you have got to pay for. So although I managed to stay there for 6 months, I was literally working to pay the bills and I wasn't bringing anything into the home. And as a single parent, you just can't work like that. So I actually got offered a job in 2014. And I went for it. It was a part-time job, although it was 30 hours a week. So it wasn't much of a part-time job. And I thought, it's okay. I can work my business around this part-time job. I can continue to build it up. And once it's built up enough, I can quit the job. However, the job paid really, really well. It was more than I'd been paid in any of my other full-time jobs, working 30 hours a week. And the photography just kind of, again, once you were back in work and you've got that safety net of that money, it then becomes harder to be motivated. For me, it was harder to be motivated to keep going with it because I was making easy money, as it were, with this job. So the photography kind of dwindled and I finally put the last nail in the coffin, as it were, in 2019. So I did continue. I did some weddings. I did some female portraiture. I did newborns. I even did a pet session. And one of my proudest moments during my photography business was creating a charity calendar for Cancer Research UK. And we raised over £500, I think. And I told 12 stories of people who had lived with cancer and their family stories, and each one of those made up a month in the calendar. And it was really to show people that the research out there is really helping people to survive cancer. We only had one person in the calendar who had passed away from their cancer, and it was a local girl who's got her own charity. Her mum runs a charity in her memory, and I had her as August. That was her birth month. And my goal there was to, one, show that people are surviving more and more, and two, that there are all sorts of cancer. So everybody had a different cancer. It was really, really a proud moment for me. So I did all of that, closed the business in 2019, properly, formally, as it were, and put my camera down. However, I did shoot 2 weddings after that. And if you've been part of this podcast, you probably heard about those because they were both in the last 3 years. So the job that I took on was actually what led me to my idea for my third business, which was the Society of Professional Wedding Vendors. And that I just literally closed last month. So that was around from 2020 till 2023. I wanted to help couples and the industry I loved. I was fed up with seeing couples taken advantage of by unscrupulous people who were letting them down left, right and centre. And I was fed up of vendors not being recognised when they were doing all the right things. It was like people were hiring the wrong people, and the people that were there ready to help and doing it for all the right reasons were getting overlooked. So that was the idea of bringing about the society, a place where good vendors could come, be part of a membership, knowing that everybody else in that membership had the same kind of ethos and ethics as them, and showing couples these people that they could hire, knowing that they worked by a code of ethics. Unfortunately, lockdown 1 was not the best time to start a business that catered to an industry that ground to a halt. And in all honesty, the industry is still in recovery mode. And unfortunately, even though I'm not a single parent anymore and my daughter is old enough to take care of herself, I can't keep running a business that isn't bringing in an income. So the income wasn't working for me, and we weren't getting the uptake that I needed, and I had to make the decision to close that business down. But that has led me here. And my 2 websites, donnae.com and becomeapodcaster.uk. Those are where you can find me these days. I have always been praised on my consistency, and I've also been asked to teach people how to podcast. So I am going where I'm needed. I love podcasting, as you may have guessed, and I think it is an amazing tool for audience building and a great way to connect with your audience more deeply. So I am absolutely thrilled to be able to teach people how to do it. And my consistency comes from my planning and productivity. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But I've got a trick or two up my sleeve, which I am happy to share with you guys. So as you can see, challenges come and mess up the path that we think that we are meant to be on. And sometimes they are there to change your direction completely, like they have been for me. And sometimes they're there to up-level you right where you are. Do I see myself as a failure? No, I don't, because I'm not giving up. I know that I have something to share with the world. Those first 3 businesses, they weren't being asked for in the world I was in. I didn't have the availability of time needed to be able to grow them. And timing plays a huge part in the success of your business, because if you start at the right time and you have good plans and strategies in place, you'll see success. But if you start at the wrong time and you don't have plans and strategies in place, you often won't be able to ride it out until the right time, and you'll struggle with motivation to get the plans and strategies in place because you're not seeing results. And that is where I was in a lot of my early business life. So my advice from going through this is get a plan. Number 1. Get a plan, a traditional business plan, guys. Like, we don't need these anymore. You can literally start a business tomorrow with no capital at all. Business plans were something that we had to take to the bank to get approved for loans to start a business. You just don't need that anymore. But the planning is so important. So pretend that you're going for a capital investment and do a plan. Number 2, start learning now. Marketing, selling, systems, the lot. Anything that you do not know how to do, start learning it. Start taking courses, start searching around for business networking, business groups that you can go and learn from, because learning now whilst you are in a job is the best way to really get a head start in your business. Number 3, don't leave your job until you're making a regular income from your business. This is where I fell down in all of my businesses. So in my first business, I decided to leave the job. I was actually on agency, and I decided to leave and go and do my own thing. 3 months later, I'm not making enough money to do the bills. I panicked, I got scared, I got a child to look after, and I went back to my agency job and carried on for another 1.5 years, I think, until I went to uni. Then I started the photography business. Again, I didn't have anything in place. I was doing uni full time, so I was working and building it up whilst I was at uni. But really, the uni course was so heavy that I wasn't focusing on marketing, strategy, learning and all of that, because I was already learning for my degree. So it wasn't the best time to do that. And then the society, again, I was made redundant from my job. So I didn't have a choice there. I was trying to stay in my job, but because of COVID, it kind of accelerated a redundancy that I wasn't expecting. So I had learnt from my mistake. I was planning on staying in the job, but I got made redundant. So don't leave your job until you're getting a regular income from your business. It doesn't have to replace your income, but it needs to be a regular amount. So set your leave date, and I highly recommend the book 2 Weeks Notice by Amy Porterfield if you want to start a business and you are in a day job right now. Rein in your belts, save as much as you possibly can, and start your business on the side. Invest your business money back into your business and start building it up. When you leave your job, you will have a little nest egg that will help in the lean months as you start to grow, and you'll have the systems in place to scale quickly to replace your employed income. This won't stop challenges, guys, but it will put you in a stronger position to deal with them. So now you may already have started a business, and that is why you're listening to this podcast. But if you know somebody who is thinking of starting a business, definitely share this episode with them so they can get those tips and learn from my mistakes, not failures. Okay. So as I said, I asked some of my business friends to chime in on challenges and how they dealt with them. And I want you to know that we all go through difficult times, because sometimes we can look at others and what they show outwardly on social media. And often that's the version where everything is fine, it's smooth sailing. But behind the scenes, we all encounter challenges. So listening to these business besties of mine draw strength from knowing that others have met challenges and they have survived, and so can you. First, we're going to hear from Michelle Kuklinski. She is a mindset, health and nutrition coach who helps rebellious women to revive their zest for life by increasing their energy, improving their mood and reducing their waistlines. She creates fun and adventurous life plans designed specifically for them. Michelle had a challenge that I think all of us have to deal with at some time, especially in the early days of our business. So let's listen in.
My biggest challenge in business so far has been shiny object syndrome. I'm very easily distracted by the latest new development, way to market or run your business, because I love learning and that really interests me. But the problem is you end up with being a bit all over the place and lacking focus. So what I've done to help with that is become crystal clear on the business model that will get me where I want to be with my business. It's based on what I love to do, not what someone else thinks I should do. And that way I get less distracted. So if I see something that I think, oh, that sounds like a good idea, or it's interesting me, firstly I say, is that in alignment with my business model? If the answer is yes, the second question is, does this fit in and will this serve my goals within my business model? If there's a no to either of those questions, then I know straight away, do you know what? Turn the screen off, stop scrolling, don't look at it, don't book on, don't pay for it. It's not part of my business plan. It's not going to serve me. And that helps me get very clear and not get distracted and keep on the path that's actually going to help me grow my business.
Well said, Michelle. I absolutely love those tips, because I am too very guilty of shiny object syndrome. I love learning. It is my biggest downfall, I think, because literally anytime I'm scrolling social media, those ads come up. This is how to build your list. This is how to market what you're doing. This is how to do a work. And I am all over it. And I am really grateful for those tips, because I'm going to follow them too. You have to come up with a model that suits you. And there is something to be said from listening to the people who have gone before you and have grown a business. But at the end of the day, it is your business and you have to be happy with what you're doing. So finding a business model that works for you is key. And then you have to stick to that. There is no point in going, okay, I'm going to run a business where, for example, I'm going to be a course leader and I'm going to do courses. And then all of a sudden you're middle of making a course and you see something about memberships and how reoccurring revenue is the way to go these days. And you need to have a membership. And all of a sudden you're trying to start a membership when you were supposed to be building courses. So, whatever it is that you're doing, be very mindful of what you take on when it comes to learning. So I said in the beginning, start learning now. those skills that you need when you are in work before you start your business is the best time to play around, see what feels right for you, see what you enjoy doing, and create a business model that you can build on. Thank you so much for that, Michelle. I will leave Michelle's details in the show notes so you can head over and connect with her. Next, we are going to hear from Lisa Baptiste. Lisa set up the perfect pet nanny in 2015 after spotting a gap in the market when looking for pet sitting services for her own pets. Knowing that her cats were being looked after as well as her home became the inspiration behind the perfect pet nanny. She is also known as Mary Doolittle, a cross between Mary Poppins and Dr. Doolittle, and there is no animal she won't look after. That, my friends, sounds like a challenge. Her clients book with confidence year after year because of how well she looks after their pets and does her job. However, when things are going so well, you have to look at expanding your business. And this can lead to a whole new set of challenges. Let's hear what Lisa had to say.
One of the hardest things I've had to face actually is deciding to grow the business, which meant taking on some team members and going through all the checks, making sure that they all were DBS checked and had good references, and they did. One was a teacher, so, on paper and, look absolutely fantastic. However, they, between the pair of them, almost ruined my business overnight. And really, it was only down to having such fantastic clients, specifically the clients that were affected by these two members of the team, that actually, got me over the hump of their really poor service that they gave. I won't go into too many details, but that's a whole podcast. So having really fantastic understanding clients and being, communication is key, being really upfront with clients and also offering them a refund, which I've got to tell you, they actually didn't take. So that was relief. So staffing, big issue.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Lisa. It is a big issue when you are taking people on, because your business is your business. And we've heard it said many times before, and if you haven't, I'm going to say it. Nobody cares as much about your business as you do. And it can be really difficult to take on team members and have them have the same passion and same care that you have for your business. Now, in some instances, it might not be too relevant, because it may be that their back end, their admin, their, sending out canned responses on email, or they're just setting up calendars or updating the website, things like that, that can be caught and corrected and it not have a huge impact on your end user or your clients. But for Lisa, she's a front-facing business. These people are going to other people's homes. So she did everything right. She checked them. She had DBS checks. She got references, but it was still not enough to weed out people that weren't going to be as passionate and as caring as she was. So that is a hard pill to swallow, that you've taken on people that aren't going to do the job. And she had some very understanding clients, and this comes from building your reputation first. So you have to make sure that you have set an expectation with your clients and given them great service, so that if they ever do have a bad experience with your business, they feel that they can come to you, they feel that they can talk to you, they feel that they can send an email. I've done it before with businesses where I felt let down by something, and I've sent them an email and said, hey guys, I thought that it was this way and this is what happened, and they've corrected it. As much as taking on a free trial of a product and accidentally forgetting to cancel it before they've charged me and going back and them saying, well, we don't normally do refunds, but on this occasion we will. It gives you that sense of the business cares about you. So then when you are looking for that service or you do want to work with them, you're not going to have a negative feeling about it. And that is what Lisa had. She had built a reputation. Her clients loved her. They realized that this wasn't a reflection on Lisa and the Perfect Pet Nanny brand. It was these individuals, and action was taken, and those clients were satisfied with the action that was taken and didn't take the refund. So that is a really important lesson to learn, especially if you are at a stage where you're looking to take people on. Make sure that you've set those expectations with your clients. Make sure that you have got that great reputation, that they know, like, and trust you, so that if anything does go wrong with a new team member, you're not going to lose clients because of it. Because we can't control other people. We can set expectations, we can train them, but we don't control them. So it is a scary thing to do, especially when you have a great reputation. So that is definitely something to consider. Thank you so much, Lisa. I will leave Lisa's details in the show notes as well. Up next, we have Debbie Stewart. Debbie runs a Time Out for Me. It's a holistic well-being business. She is a holistic practitioner. She helps people to find inner peace, and she uses that with back remedies, Reiki, workshops, in-person consultations, online consultations. She runs some fun little activities that just get you out of your mundane day-to-day and doing something creative, which is really a great way to get in touch with yourself again. And she can do all sorts of wonderful things to help you just take that time out. So Debbie suffered with something that I think we can all relate to: imposter syndrome and confidence. So let's take a listen to how Debbie dealt with that.
My biggest challenge was most certainly not believing in myself and my confidence. Although I love doing the work that I do, and that I still do very much so, I just felt maybe I wasn't professional enough. I was doing it my way. Was there a better way to do it? What really helped me develop and believe in myself a lot more was networking. Hearing feedback from people who had worked with me, reviews that people had written about me, and stop listening to my ego and just go with my heart and just do things my unique way.
Thank you for that, Debbie. It is so important that we have confidence in ourselves and our business. And if you don't, you're not going to grow. This is where the mindset part of this podcast comes in, because if you don't have that belief in yourself, it doesn't matter what systems and processes you have in place, you are not going to have a successful business. You need to have that inner confidence. Now, Debbie was really lucky in the fact that she is a avid networker, and the people around her were able to boost her and show her that actually she is good at what she does. Now, often we will say you need to block out what is around you, and you need to do it your way. You need to have that confidence, but sometimes you just need that little push to get you over that hump and actually believing in yourself. And now Debbie has that confidence that if somebody does come up and go, you shouldn't be doing that, that's not the way to do it, she has the confidence, she has the backing, she has the history to show that she is fine doing it her way, and she doesn't need to listen to negative Nancy's, even if those negative Nancy's are inside our own head. So thank you so much, Debbie. I really appreciate you sharing that, because I think imposter syndrome and lack of confidence is something that we all hit at different points in our business, and it's a reoccurring thing. It's something that we are always having to work on. And finally, but by no means least, we have your business bestie, and at this point, a regular on the show, Carly Wall. She mentors and guides and advises women who run small businesses by themselves on working on planning, strategy, productivity, and accountability to take your business from winging it to bringing it. You can find her at the Business Bestie Hangout group on Facebook. You know it is my favourite place to hang out. Let's listen in to Carly's biggest business challenge.
I would say one of the biggest challenges that I've had in my business so far is trying to make the decision whether to grow my business with a team of people or to try and grow it in a different way just by myself. At the time of making the decision, I had a team of 5 associates working with me, and I was actually becoming quite unhappy in my business. And the main thing that pulled me from that and helped me to move forward from that challenge was to really have a good think about what I wanted from my business. It's my business, my rules. I run it in the way that I want to. So I had just drilled down and had a good old think about what I want my business to look like, what I want my life and my business to look like together, the balance, what I want to feel, what I want to be doing, and all of that. And actually made the decision to just scale everything back to be just myself in my business. And I've been very happy with that since. And I have since incorporated that whole process that I went through into something that I work through with my clients as well.
Thank you so much, Carly, for that. Again, this was a growing the business thing, and Carly had grown it. She had a team. It was working well, but something wasn't sitting right with her, and she actually decided to scale back. Now, that might shock some of you because you may be sitting there thinking, well, no, that's the whole point of business, isn't it? That you grow and grow and grow, and then you hit a point where you can just sit back and chill because everybody else is doing the work for you. Well, that's not always the case. And sometimes that is not what you actually really want when you look at it. So having listened to all of these ladies, one of the biggest core things that I have seen through all of these challenges is that really drilling down on what it is that you want out of your business. How do you want to run your business? What do you want your business to look like in 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? How do you want your business to look? How do you want it to make you feel? You know, you don't want a business that is going to be stressing you out 24/7. That's not what we're doing this for. So drill down into what it is that you want from your business, how you want to run it, and what you want it to look like. And make your decisions based on that. You may be a person that actually wants to spend more time with their family, needs a little bit of income to add to the household budget, and are happy to be that solopreneur doing what you're doing, working with clients one-to-one. You may be feeling that you have got a message that is just needs to get out to the world, and you need as many people to hear it as possible, and you want to build a big team and an organization, and you want to help people to reach their dreams, both through what it is that you're teaching, but also by offering jobs and positions to people that are going to pay better, give them a better work-life balance, etc. So whatever it is that you want, you need to drill down, like Carly said, on what it is that is going to work for you. I absolutely love that. Thank you so much, Carly. As always, Carly's information will also be in the description below. So as you can see, from personal challenges to logistical challenges, running a business and making it a success is not easy. That is why if you're sitting here listening to this and you have a business that is going well, perhaps you have conquered the most businesses fail within the first 5 years. Maybe you've hit the 12-month mark and you're excited for the next 12 months. Maybe you've been in business for 10 years like Carly has. If that is you, if you're anywhere in between, pat yourself on the back and celebrate where you are. And I want you to do that this weekend, literally. If you are a cup of tea person, if you are a cocktail person, I want you to raise a glass to yourself this weekend, because it takes guts. It takes determination and the ability to ask for help to succeed at most things. and business is no different. And if you're sat there in the middle of a challenge and you're on the verge of giving up, take inspiration from these stories. Sometimes it's not about quitting. Sometimes it's about getting laser focused and bringing everything back to the basics and honing in on your why. Sometimes the challenge is there to show you this is not the way for you. But always, when a door is closing, there is another one opening. So take a minute, sit still and listen. Is it a challenge to fight through, or is it a challenge you need to pivot from? I've been there and I've had those thoughts. But what about the money I spent? What about all the training that I've done? If I stop now, I've wasted it all. No, you haven't. We learn or grow, friends. We learn or grow. So if you aren't growing, then you're learning. And that learning can be transferred in some way, somehow, to take you to where you want to go and move you forward. I want to thank Debbie, Michelle, Lisa and Carly for sharing their challenges with us. And I would love to know a challenge that you have overcome. So head over and DM me on Insta. I am at Donna_Eid_, and let me know what's been challenging you lately. Thank you so much for listening to this first episode of the brand new Mindset and Action podcast. Please do share this on your socials. I would love to get this out to as many people as possible. And don't forget to head over and subscribe at donnaeid.com/pod squad to get your pod news. And I will speak to you guys soon. Bye for now. Don't forget to hit those stars and leave a review of the podcast where you listen if you found value in what you heard today. It's a free way you can help the podcast reach more people just like you.